Hi, everybody. Hope you're not too hungry because we have just the final session before lunch. And I'd like to present to you our colleague Harry, and he will be talking about managed user data. I see some applause for Harry.
Thank you, guys. Hope you are enjoying the sessions. I hope you like my session too, which is CloudStack Managed User Data. I really liked enjoying working on this feature just because I got to know the benefits of it. Funny thing is that I got to know the benefits after I developed the feature. Because I was having some discussions with the colleagues at the time I got to know that. But finally, I got the essence. So quickly, my introduction. I'm Hari Krishna. I work for ShapeBlue and CloudStack. I'm a committer since 8 years. Yeah, as I said, I can say I'm born and brought up in CloudStack with respect to my work. Even previously, I worked for Accelerate and Citrix. There also, it's based on CloudStack only. And that's my family, and that's my bigger family at work. You might have already seen most of us here. Okay, let's quickly get into the agenda. So I'll quickly go through the introduction of user data with some very basics, followed by how it is working with CloudStack and what is the new additions that we have made, and some more details of that feature. Okay. In my opinion, user data as in, it can be any data that user wants to send to the instance. Like it can be any script or any information that he wants to pass to the instance. Say suppose if it is just a script, it may configure the instance accordingly. If it is just an information, maybe application inside the instance will use it. So any data that we want to pass it to the instance, that's a user data. And mostly what I have seen is it's mostly the cloud init scripts that people use for user data, so that it can configure the instance accordingly and get the instance up and running and well prepared for the next usage. So you might have already seen this in CloudStack. So when we actually deploy the VM, we provide the text while here in the user data box. But it used to be like this, but we have changed it after we introduced this managed user data feature. So what happens is, so this is a quick workflow, like how it fetches the user data from the virtual router, or it can be config drive as well. So user provides the user data, and the management server passes the user data to the virtual router or config drive, and the instance will fetch the user data from that VR or config drive. It's that simple, it works. And what we have done on top of it is to make the user data as a first-class resource. I mean, previously that has to be a simple text, user data text that we have to pass it to the, in the deploy VM wizard, right? So now what we can do is, since we have made it an first-class entity in CloudStack, we can register it, and we can register as many user data as we want, and we can use those entities while deploying the instance. That's one part. The other part is we can register the user data, link the user data to a template. So whomsoever uses that template gets that user data. So this is the improvement that we have made. So if you can see, under compute sections, we have a new subsection for user data. This is the new workflow, but it still looks the same. See, the right part of CloudStack is still the same. Like it will pass the user data to VR, and instance will fetch it. What has changed is the left side part, where admin or users can register the user data inside CloudStack, and it will save into the user data. So users will be selecting the registered user data, and that will be passed to the CloudStack. CloudStack will take care of reading the user data from the database and pass it to the VR. Again, it's that simple, but what benefits we'll get out of it is, even I was surprised. I was saying, like, I didn't know this when I was talking to Rohit and all. We got to know all these things. Like, first thing is automatic provisioning. That's given when we normally use user data, whether it is registered user data or normal user data. we deploy the instance based on that user data, right? So it's like automatic provisioning coming from the user data itself. What we are added is the centralized management. So since everything is registered in CloudStack, it's easy to manage them, first of all, and even it's easy for the users actually to select whatever the user data that we can treat it as a recipes, like whatever the user data are registered, those all can be used by the users. So that's like a centralized management system. Next one is the compliance. If I have to explain it from organization point of view, say suppose being an organization, if I have to give the instances to the employees, some sort of policies, security policies or regulation has to be applied to the instances, right? So those can be configured under user data and they can be added in CloudStack and link it to the template, and whenever the instance comes with that template, those compliance will be applied to those instances. So that's one benefit. Other thing is the consistency. Again, still it is saved, it's a saved user data. So whenever user uses that user data, all VMs will be configured in the same way. So that's why we get the consistency. Version control, yeah, it's how we manage the user data. Like if I have a bunch of user data already registered with having multiple versions, users get to update the user data as well. Say suppose I have an instance with some packages installed on it. I'm using user data 1 and I have upgraded to user data 2. Even I can roll back to user data 1 by stopping the VM and updating the user data. So that's where we can use the version control system as well. Even if we can think a bit loud actually, this is not there still. If say, this can be a marketplace as well. Say suppose we'll make it public and let users or anyone can submit their recipes, I mean the user data scripts, and anyone can use it. So that's where it opens the gate for all these benefits, which I really like them actually. So next, going into bit details of the feature that we have added here. Say suppose as an admin, see we have already discussed about this, right? A user data can be linked to a template. But what if as an admin, if I want to give some, if a user wants to add his own user data while deploying the instance, I already linked the user data to the template, right? So what if user wants to add his own user data? So those policies can be controlled by these options like allow override, deny override, and append. So when I register the template and link the user data, I can specify these policies. Say suppose if it is allow override, that means user can override the already linked user data to the template. Same thing with the deny. If I don't want to user to touch the user data, I'll make it deny. This is where the compliance comes in. So he can't change that user data. Yeah, he can't deny that. So that's about that policy. Append is like user can still get both the user data, like whatever there on the template and whatever he wants to add it, both will be appended and will send it to the virtual router. So these are like control systems that admin can get. One more thing in user data comes here is with the variable parameters. I can give an example, it can be stupid as well, but just to make it more understandable. Say suppose I have an environment which gives the gaming systems, like whenever an instance comes up, it will configure it with the game in it, but what I want is the names of these players to be registered on that instance. So those are the variables. So when I register the user data, I'll declare those variables and user will provide those values. So that I'll get those names and it configure the instance accordingly. And one thing to note is we are supporting Jinja-based data format for this. So those are the variables, right, where you can see ds.metadata.variable1. That's a Jinja-based data format which are currently supporting it now. I'll try to give you a quick demo, but I'm not sure. It will work anyways because that's just pretty simple workflow, as I said. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Under the compute sections, we have the new user data section. So I have a couple of already registered user data here. As I said, it can be anything. Like this user data actually installs a couple of packages, just paste bin Python or something. And I just have an example here. This will just install the packages and run a couple of commands. So nothing else is here. This is the one I'm talking about regarding the variables. So as I said, these are the variables, and we have to define it manually when we register the user data. I'll show it to you how it is done. So when I register the user data, so the variables are variable 1, right? So we have to define these parameters like this. So we can automate this. Maybe that can be an improvement we can do. But still, for now, we have to manually add this. And we can also add these variables. If you see, public hostname is the, we have already set some set of metadata we are already using for the instances. So I think the public host names and what else we have? I forgot. Yes, all those metadata can be accessed from here, and those will be populated to the instance. So that's how registering a user data looks like. So once these are registered, when I try to register a template, so this is the new option we get here. So all registered user data will be populated here, and we have to select it. One, say suppose if I select example 1, these are the policies that we have to specify based on the use case. Say suppose if I selected allow override, so user will be able to override this example 1 user data. Maybe we can see that. Let me see, I have already registered this. Yeah, this has already a user data is there, and policy is allow override. So when I try to deploy an instance, in the advanced mode section, we have these details. So previously, this is just a text box. Now we have this option. Since this template is already linked with this CentOS 7 template, and it has a variable declared to it, so user have to provide some value here, like based on the user data it's supposed to be. And since the override policy is allow override, user gets this option to override whatever they're linked with the template. So he can still select a couple of other packages or any other things. And he can also provide the manual user data entry just for backward compatibility purpose. Otherwise, this is more easier to handle the user data. I think that's it. I don't want to deploy it and show it because it's all it does is sends that user data to the instance, right? Yeah. Nothing else from my side. I can shut up now. You can take a shot.
All right. First question from Don.
Thank you, Harry. Very clear. Can a user that is deploying a template with allow override decide to append?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
When the policy on the template is allow override,
Okay.
and the user wants to keep the user data that's there but has something to append, is that a possibility? Or is that a future feature maybe?
He can't do that because it's just the override policy, right? What he can do is he can register a specific user data and use that. I mean, we can have an appended user data registered separately and override the whatever the template has it. That's a workaround, but still that there is a possibility for the improvement. I see that, yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. I want to know that can we use functions in the Jinja, or it's only for variables replacement?
For now, those are values we are rendering.
And you have any roadmap about implementing?
You mean to say the functions
full
to be
functionality of the Jinja templating language? I mean,
I think it should work because all we do is pass this user data to the what we are right. So when the cloud init gets into the picture, I think it just executes everything whatever there. I
mean, loops using conditions.
Yes, those all will work. Yeah.
Thank you.
It uses the format of Jinja, so whatever you can type in Jinja should be. Yeah.
No.
I think there's a couple of questions from online, and I'll get back to you. We have plenty of time. All right, one from Suresh. Any size restrictions limit about user data? Any restrictions for specific OSS? So can I add my restriction config at CloudStack and enforcing some user data always for VMs of specific type or domain?
Domain level, maybe I'll answer the second question first. Domain level scope isn't there. It's all the template level itself. Regarding the first question, sorry, what was it?
Restrictions for the size and limit of user data.
Okay. I didn't remember the exact number, but it's around 32 KB or something, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
We haven't changed that. It's still the same, like whatever there before.
Okay. And another one, can an existing template be updated to be linked for user data for same VMs?
Sorry,
Can existing template be linked?
Yes, we can update the template and change the user data for it.
All right, back to the audience. Sven?
I have a question regarding appending config data. When you have the you can install packages via Cloud Init.
Yes.
So when I already have a package section defined and append a new config with a package section too, will it be override the package section, or will it really append and install all packages from both package parameters?
As far as I remember, even if there are multiple same sections, it will still run it, I guess. It won't override, yeah. It's the Cloud Init feature that we have not touched anything there. So whatever there in the user Cloud Init, it will just execute it as it is. Even while appending, I don't think we are matching specific sections. Yeah. One question per person.
Hello? Yeah. I have a second question regarding security. As far as I know, I'm not an expert in the user data, but the data is stored on the virtual router and the virtual machine will ask the virtual router for data. But every virtual machine can get every data for every virtual machine from the virtual router, or is there security implemented?
I think it's per IP level, right?
Yes. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So you're checking the IP and
yes.
only the IP can... Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Question for Poro?
Do we have any validation happening at the registration phase with respect to the user data that's being...
No.
Or we just rely on Cloud Init feeling?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can do that. Probably there are APIs to do that, but logically I don't see we can do that.
All right, any other question? Yes, man, okay. You're not getting any extra points.
Okay, then no. Is there the variables we can use which are predefined? Is there documentation about that, or is it Cloud Init? The host name, you presented some variables which are
yes,
predefined. Is there
yes,
any
yes.
documentation about
In
it?
the user data section itself, I think we have it.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Somewhere, yeah, it should. I have mentioned it, I guess, but I forgot. It should be there because those meta details are already people are using, I think, for that instance. Yeah.
Another question from online. Is there a possibility for these variables in the user data to be passed conditionally at the time of VM deployment?
No. Okay, so from UI, I think we are mandating it, but if say, I think we can pass the empty value so that it won't use that, I guess, yeah.
And probably if there's any condition, it needs to be fulfilled within the Jinja format, I guess.
Oh, that's still the same, right? Whatever there in Cloud Init, or I mean, whatever Jinja supports, I think Cloud Init will execute that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Any other question from the room?
Sorry for asking a very good question. As far as I know, Cloud Init using YAML format for its data, yes?
Yes, yes.
And because of that, you cannot use same key when you append something. For example, for the package, when you add package, it will at least create some format error for the YAML files.
Okay.
And my suggestion is that you can use some kind of merging strategies instead of appending. Then you can create, for example, add a package and new package, and it will merge with the package on the YAML in the upper section. And it is, I think it is a built-in feature for YAML formatting, and maybe easier to implement and better for customization for the users. They can customize all the parts, even the parts that they can't see, and it is the default.
Yeah, I see that, but currently I think we are just appending based on.
With 419, we are coming up with multi-part user data format. So you can provide a YAML with a template, but with while deploying VM, you can provide a shell script. So that thing we have done with 419, but as you said, right now there is no merging strategy for multiple Cloud Init sections.
Because it is YAML, it is easy. It is the YAML format, and it is easy to merge.
Yes,
like JSON, like YAML,
yes,
they have the functionality in the library itself.
Yeah.
You can choose one of them, or even you can put the functionality in this section that user choose that to replace the previous section, or append to it, or merge to it. It is kind of something that user can choose even. Maybe it is better approach to only append it.
Yeah, surely something for roadmap.
Yeah. Some good suggestions to
Thank you.
consider. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much, Hari.
Thank you, guys.